that happened. That happened. Yeah, that was a thing.
When you get a minute, could you take the trash out, please? I can't get the bags out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome back, Torok. What the happened? Where did we leave? I don't know what happened. I think I can check on the channel at some point about that. My theory is because you're showing solar clips, and big anime don't like that theory. Well, if that's the case, so I'll just put it in chat and then pin that message. Yep, so I think we're going to try it like that, see what happens. Because it only happened during Krona's analysis, by the sounds of it. So we are going to play Krona's analysis, but we aren't going to show anything. See if that helps. Let us resume.
Experiments. You know, it kind of sounds like something you do, Wiz.
Don't be silly. I only use actual guinea pigs. Part of Medusa's
The thing with Krona is they were never specified about what they really were, so they go by they, them. I remember that was a big thing people were happy about when Krona got into the series.
Your run-of-the-mill transforming weapon person until Medusa melted him alive in black blood.
Black blood.
Yeah, and then we get to Ragnarok, who has a cool name and a cool VA in the episode.
Blood, which they can remotely control. It can be used to heal wounds and even harden as a sort of internal armor.
Cooking rags in black blood turned him into a brand new weapon that was literally poured.
Ragnarok acts more like a JoJo stand, if anything.
From that point on, Krona and Ragnarok were two halves of the same person.
Yeah, I've heard about the Ruby versus Maka story.
Child firmly attached to their loud and brazen weapon.
And Raggy has that black blood control too. They can yank poor Krona around like a puppet. They can use black blood to create
it's definitely more of a complicated JoJo stand, if anything.
And big ass needles. I hate needles.
Everyone hates needles.
Mouth when he transforms into a sword. That thing's messed up.
Like the Meisters, Krona can wield their own soul in combat, amplified by Ragnarok as a technique called scream resonance. Think of it like hooking an electric guitar up to an amp, though more akin to a screeching banshee on LSD.
Yep, Krona is non-binary or agender. I don't know exact term on this one, but that's the best way I can describe Krona. That's
powerful, fair. Causing internal damage to foes and making Ragnarok vibrate to increase his cutting power. Hey, are you okay?
What?
With this weapon at their side, Krona set out on a quest to become a Kishi, which
it was cool to see something like that. I think a lot of people were definitely surprised at that, because, well, at least more so because it was definitely a big part of Krona.
They went around slaughtering hundreds of people.
Despite their name, Death Academy
You were introduced to Krona as being a boy? Fair enough.
Particularly their star student, Maka Alburn.
Don't worry, she and Krona ended up becoming good friends.
Yay for friendship.
It's complicated.
As a pawn in Medusa's mission, Krona gained several levels of new potential. Notably, after
I think there are times where Krona can be adorable, scary, and sympathetic.
the original
That's what I've
Kishin.
been getting a
All
lot
of
from
which
this analysis,
increase
honestly.
Krona's abilities, especially the black blood. Now Krona can turn their entire body into goop, and the slightest touch could inflict madness. That's madness with a capital M, by the way.
So I
This
consider him to be
madness
my
is a
first and only
collective effect that
husbando.
causes targeted variants of
Understandable, because
delusion or
Krona has
obsession,
some
often
redeeming
spread as a
characteristics.
wavelength. The wavelength of Krona's mad blood specifically causes violent psychosis.
Krona may be a pawn, but they're a badass. They can cut
I don't
you
know
off
if I'll
on
ever
ghost
check out
ship,
Soul Eater
cover
though,
the moon
because
with
like
sound
it's
waves,
not
open the
for
moon's
me
mouth. What the
per
hell
se.
is wrong with that moon?
I will
Krona
admit
and
how creepy it
Ragnarok
is.
have held their own against multiple Death Academy students, including Maka, Death the Kid, and Black Star.
Sometimes all at once.
Oh yeah,
Kid
wasn't
wants
Black
food
Star
from
one of
Nevada
Kill
to
with
Egypt
options
in
from what I
less than a
remember?
minute, and Black Star is even faster. He's dodged lasers.
You've watched a
and
lot of
tracked
Soul
over
Eater.
20
Fair
kilometers
enough.
in
So you're
6
definitely prepared for whenever this show
microseconds
gets on
while
again.
approaching Baba Yaga Castle.
And Krona's been able to make enough mad blood to crush a whole goddamn Ukrainian city.
While this city isn't
Fucking
named,
wild.
we can use a similar metropolitan area in Ukraine, Kiev, for instance. With this in mind, Krona must have created over 9 trillion tons of
Krona
black blood,
is
enough to fill
slightly
over 6
absurd.
billion
I say
Olympic
slightly.
swimming pools.
But Krona's a big leap from invincible. They've had their shit kicked in plenty of times, and their hardened black blood can only block so much.
Even then,
Yeah,
Medusa's
just
plan
like an actual
ultimately
JoJo
succeeded.
stand.
After years of scheming, Krona absorbed the power of Ashura and became a Kishin.
Well, more like Kishin absorbed Krona, but close enough.
But
Right.
with the power of friendship, Krona ironically wound up defeating the Kishin once and for all. Despite
The
their
power of
effort,
friendship is
nothing but
broken in any
destruction.
anime content.
Krona was the one
However,
who
I knew about Soul
ultimately
Eater
saved the world.
because
With
of
an added
AMV1.
side effect of a new
Oh, okay.
madness wavelength
That's
that
interesting.
made everyone obsessed with boobs. Truly a positive effect on people everywhere.
Just give up. I'm tired
Boobs.
of trying to figure out how to deal with you.
That's all there is to that sentiment.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, instead of chewing on
But
brains,
first, we're gonna mute the ad for Blue Chew. I want to live in a world for the single madness wave. Oh god. The Chrono was fun to go back and see, like learn about. Oh god, I'm probably gonna have to hide the post analysis too, aren't I? I think I probably should be on the safe side because I don't want the stream going down again. Say Tornox, say chat, stop being horny. Go to horny jail. That is an order. Horny jail. Oh god. But now are we ready for a sprite fight of Venom versus Chrono? Because here we go. Oh boy.
Hello? I want to be alone.
Hey, pay attention, you turd.
Look, Ragnarok is voiced beautifully here. And they got Venom's original voice actor back, which is always nice.
For the price of one.
What do you think you're watching this
I
from?
can handle this right now.
Oh god. Hello. Spiderweb. The music is slightly creepy still, I guess. Bonk, bonk. Yeah, the sprite team had a lot of fun with Venom by the looks of it.
Your mind is ours. Dinner time.
I think that's still the same sprite from Venom vs. Bane too, which is like from Marvel v. Capcom. God damn. Gee. Ow. Chrono with the combos. But also it made it look very stiff. The punching barrage. I think the church is also a really nice setting.
What is he?
We are the ones hiding under your bed. Teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red.
God damn, the dialogue for Venom is fantastic. Bonk. Bonk. Hello. Oh God.
Your blood.
I know. It's black.
And then the black blood, which makes everything harder to see.
Wake up, stupid!
Best clip though. Just Ragnarok going, "Wake up, stupid." Venom with wings! It's real, chat. The legend of Venom with wings is real. The friggin' moon. I think if you're a Soul Eater fan, you'll recognize all these attacks for certain, though. Ow.
We are the darkness.
I kind of wish that they had Eddie sound different than with the symbiote, honestly. Because it just sounds like the same tone.
I hate you.
Damn. Chrono with the insult of hating you. Goodbye. God damn, this was so creepy. Just that smile.
Man, these symbiotes really need to stop picking fights with pink-haired
Okay.
anime characters.
Oh, you're beloved.
Venom was
Well,
certainly a tricky opponent. His shape-shifting
you're gonna be shocked when I say this, but I
multitude of
think
weapons
Venom
kept
actually
Chrono
does
on
beat
guard.
Krona nowadays.
Unfortunately,
Venom's gotten
lacked
way
the
better,
power
and
needed to
apparently
keep up a prolonged fight.
this was
Chrono
controversial.
matching Black Star's
Um,
speed makes for a pretty clear difference. Chrono could reach
which is
Mach
ins-
9,000,
which
while
is
Venom
insane.
only topped out around Mach 2,000.
And while Venom
A
has
lot of
shown
people actually were
incredible
saying
physical
Venom
strength
should have
and put
won this, and I
Spider-Man to
think they
shame,
might be
he could
right.
never compete with 9 trillion tons of mad blood.
Which,
I
by the
didn't-
way,
I don't
that
know
precise control
just
of the
how
black
extremely
blood
powerful
totally meant
Venom
Chrono could
is
push out
since
any
this
of Venom's
episode,
attempt at
but I
being
can
a puppeteer.
see why Venom
Chrono
should have
showed
won.
even greater feats of strength as well. Assuming all of the moon's teeth are similar in size and
So,
opening this
I
jaw
am
is
curious
equivalent
what
to lifting
chat
over
thinks. Do you
10,000
guys think Krona
tons.
still beats
Of
Venom, or
course,
do you
the
think Venom
final
beats
nail in
Krona
Eddie's
still?
coffin
I am
was
curious.
the fact that half of Krona's arsenal was sound-based, basically Venom's kryptonite.
Somewhat. Recall that Venom did gain a notable resistance to sound attacks.
Yeah,
So
that was
we
also a
needed
problem
to
a lot of people
determine if
have with this
Krona's
episode. It's
sonic
just like,
waves
why would you put a
were great
character
enough
up
to
against someone who
effectively
has
harm
the
you.
explicit
You know
weakness
those
of the other?
gremlins who shattered every window in 10 miles with a screech attack? The symbiote
Hmm.
barely survived it, so that's a good high end to look at.
It takes at least 100 decibels to shatter glass normally.
Do
To
you think they
cover that
broke
much
down
distance,
decibels
the
in
combined
this
sonic
season,
blast
the
must
same
have equaled
season,
about
and then a season later, or
244
season
decibels.
or
In
earlier?
contrast,
They did
in order to engulf
Sindel
the
versus
moon,
Black
Krona's
Canary.
sonic waves must have reached over 275 decibels.
And yes, that's considering the weird size and shape of the moon. Ugh,
You don't know, you
look
don't
at
get
that
gums.
freaky thing.
Sure, 275 doesn't seem that much
Understandable.
more than 244, but decibels increase on a logarithmic rate. This means Krona's sound attack was actually over 1,000 times stronger.
Vinny for sure wasn't surviving that.
Eddie and the symbiote held their own with versatility.
Yeah,
but
I am
Krona
curious to
and
see, like,
Ragnarok had
what
them beat in destructive
other people
power,
think of this.
blistering speed,
The reason people say
and
Venom
an
wins now is
arsenal that
because
could
they actually
take
took on
advantage of
Symbiote
Venom's
God
key
now,
weakness.
but that's using
Looks
tons
like
of
Venom just got Ragnar
a non-natural power boost.
The
I don't
winner
know.
is Krona.
But Krona won this episode.
Thanks for watching this episode of Death Battle. Come back next week to see
Which was
previews
a
of our
thing.
upcoming matchups. If you want to watch more stuff, you can click
And
the
it
box
was
on
Soul
right
Eater's
here,
only
and
appearance,
you can
so
always pick up
whatever.
some DB merch at store.roosterteeth.com.
Up next, after this was
Blue team, this is the red team. We are
Red
here to
versus
destroy
Blue.
you.
I got a tank. People with tanks are never outnumbered.
Anyone remember this episode? It's fitting. Because literally this episode was supposed to happen. It got delayed into the episode we are about to watch that people consider another Halloween themed episode. Can y'all guess what it is? Because I need to use the restroom. So I will be right back. Much better. But no, we are not watching Red versus Blue. It is time for the next Halloween episode. Dun dun, dun dun. It's going to be after this ad. We are getting into the episode that took over for Red vs. Blue because of the delays. And oh boy, is this a good one. There's an HBO Max sponsor. 1 second. Okay. Chat, it's time for Saberwolf versus John Tao Bane. We are getting one of the classics of Halloween monsters. We are getting werewolves. It's time for Killer Instinct versus Dark Stalkers. Killer Instinct has been on the show before, and so was Dark Stalkers. But let's get into this. I'm still very mad that this episode never got a proper teaser because of Red vs. Blue Lake, because this was going to be a big wanted match of mine for a while. Oof. That's rough, buddy. But hey, it happens. Delays happen in a show. So, let's just kick back and talk about Saber vs. John. Oh boy. This episode hit people out of nowhere.
Sir Thomas Brown once said, "Every man is his own greatest
honestly,
enemy." And
I really like this episode. It made the top 10 of the last season ranking overall, because I think all the lads had it definitely in the top 10 around the same spot.
Turn into a big old honking werewolf,
such as Saberwolf, the savage wolf.
Because now we're going to be getting into Killer Instinct and Dark Stalkers.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and
so
skills
Killer
to
Instinct has
find
been
out
on the
who
show
would win a death
numerous times.
Deep in the heart of Germany's
And
Black
honestly,
Forest lies the ruins of
Killer Instinct
Saberwolf Castle.
rarely had a
To
bad
monster
episode.
of
I think there's only like
unspeakable
one bad one,
ferocity.
and we don't want to talk about it yet.
It's called Saberwolf Castle. What else do you expect?
But that monster used to be a man.
But yeah, the whole idea of this episode was werewolves because they were men turned beasts, and now we're getting into Saberwolf.
Drastically changed the day he discovered
So I think Saberwolf's like one of those characters from KI that you can just pick up and play easily. He was very easy to play in the last Killer Instinct game.
Straight out of his family's secret history,
including a mysterious large
and just the way they break down his story is really cool.
Upon the light of the next full moon, the Baron transformed into
a vampire.
No,
a werewolf. This is the werewolf episode.
Come on, Wiz. Spooky castle in the middle of nowhere. A weird cursed artifact. He's got Vaughn in his name. This is totally a vampire backstory.
Now that's for next year. On that night, Baron Saberwolf
subtly Boomstick and Wiz.
Beast. You know, the name really screwed
I don't know if there's a vampire in KI. I think there was, but I don't remember.
Well, originating as early as classical antiquity, the fable of men turning into wolves under a full moon
honestly,
is a staple of European folklore.
Was just insane to hear about. He's a tragic
most
tale.
Likely suffered from porphyria, hypertrichosis, or rabies.
Sabi rampaged all over the country, killing everyone he found. Because as a big hairy demon dog,
guess what's next? Yeah, we're gonna be taking a look at the Count versus somebody from somebody.
With his razor-sharp claws, Saberwolf can easily tear through solid steel. Also, any one of his cuts can potentially pass his
absurd with what the characters can do. I mean, or he can have a flash finisher for Christ's sakes.
Rush down any foe.
With a howl to the sky, Saberwolf can amp himself up, or tap into his killer instinct to enter a feral rage.
Subtly, don't you like it?
Shame or repression is eliminated as he truly becomes a mindless monster. It also increases his chip damage and allows him to cancel auto doubles into other auto.
Boom! Wiz talking like a fighting game nerd was funny.
We get it.
And to top it off, he can summon bats.
Flying
that are on fire.
bats. Cause why not?
Not sure where this one comes from.
He's a vampire in a fursuit. Called it.
Vampire in a
After painting
fursuit.
the
That's
town
funny.
red with blood,
Oh, God.
Saberwolf awoke to the nightmare that would be the rest of his life.
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah,
exactly a
and he's
fan
on
of the whole
and there's a
werewolf
lot of
thing,
cool
so
characters
he
in
did
KI that
anything
we
he
can talk
could to
about.
stop
Like
being
Spinal's a big one people want to see get
but
in next.
science and magic
Gargos.
couldn't cut it.
He descended into
What was his name? They
madness,
hell,
but
KI got so
eventually
popular they got
found
other
a
Microsoft
possible
properties
savior,
in there.
Your friendly neighborhood soul-crushing megacorporation.
Yay,
Ultratech.
Walmart!
AKA Evil Walmart. Or just Walmart.
Ultratech promised Saberwolf a cure
You
for
inspired-
his lycanthropy. But
Oh,
in
that's what
reality,
you
their
based Cold
experiments
Blood off
only
of
gave
Blood
him
Moon?
cybernetic implants in his arms.
That's cool.
And extended his werewolf form to last indefinitely.
Oh.
Bummer.
Also cool.
But Saberwolf was none the wiser. In return
Hey,
for a
gang,
cure
we're on
that would
episode
never come,
4
he
out of
agreed to fight
5.
on Ultratech's
I had to
behalf in their
restart the
killer
stream
instinct
because
time.
Soul Eater
Goober,
is copywritten.
this moron ran around
Even
a
in Death
creepy
Battle,
castle
welcome.
and bumped into something sharp like a dumbass.
Oh,
and
God.
Now he might not even be potty trained. And he got duped by the most obviously evil company ever to ruin his life even more.
Thanks,
This guy's
thanks,
either the
Ultratech.
unluckiest schmuck on the planet, or just high off his ass on opium.
Actually, he was dangerously addicted to opiates for a time, which only drove him further into madness.
Wow,
Poor,
this guy's life
poor
sucks.
Saber.
Regardless, Saberwolf was a fierce competitor. Within the Killer Instinct tournament, he battled and defeated a Nez Perce
Yeah, it's
warrior
alright. We
Thunder,
got
the
past
metallic
Venom vs.
super
Conan, but now
soldier
we're on
Fulgor,
Saberwolf
and an
versus John.
actual dinosaur. He's certainly
These are a
among
lot
the
of fun.
high tier of the
Speaking of tragic
competition.
characters, Savvy's story that reminds me of my favorite fighting game character, Lizard Man from
Based on
Soul
how large
Calibur.
this
Gee, I wonder
projectile
if
is,
Torox
its
a big
impact
fan
should
of
be
Soul
equivalent to
Calibur.
over a kiloton of TNT.
Sure, Sabi can't magically call down space rocks, but he can survive a hit like that and dish it back. In the tournament, he
Yeah,
won 17
the
fights
KI
in a
roster
row.
is absurdly
Until he met
powerful.
the warrior monk Jacob.
Protagonist, right? And he got
I'm
his
dead.
cheeks clapped by an alien McFlurry named Glacius.
Ouch.
But even after the tournament, Saberwolf proved strong enough to tear out his own cybernetic
I love
implants.
French Spinach.
While conducting
Honestly,
experiments
though,
on him, Ultratech's android
Killer
CEO
Instincts always
Arya
had like
noted that
good
the older a
analysis,
werewolf
honestly,
gets,
except for
more
the episode we don't
vicious
talk
and
about.
skilled It becomes, while the loss in strength and agility
And you can
is negligible.
honestly see
And
why
he
people
proved it
enjoy
in
this
his
game.
rematch with Glacius. Who's the clapper of cheeks now, you projectile spamming snow cone?
Most impressive, considering Glacius once got the
Boomstick is
drop on
very
him,
angry at
who,
projectile
according to an
attacks.
official novella, can react within a nanosecond.
Holy crap!
Jesus,
he's
that's
not
fast.
Just your average werewolf.
Forgot how fast
He's a
Arya
super
was.
werewolf, a fighting
'Cause her
Kermit
fight-
ass-kicker.
Though he will
Fighting
sadly
three different parts of it
always
was
be
not
on the hunt
fun.
For a cure that doesn't exist.
No worse than ever.
Saberwolf is one of the most dangerous monsters and men to ever live.
Werewolves are always scary.
Welcome
But
to
now,
the demon realm of Makai,
we get into John
a dimension
Talbane.
inhabited by powerful
So-
beings known as Darkstalkers.
KI was one of your favorite
Classic
childhood
Hollywood
fighters.
movie
That's fair.
monsters mixed with
So,
anime powers.
Darkstalkers.
Makai is ruled by several noble
I've
clans,
never played a
including the
Darkstalkers
Crooks,
game.
a
I did the
family
only,
of beasts.
and this is the
Like
second appearance on the show
werewolves,
Including one
behind
prominent member,
Felicia.
Baraba the
I think that was her
Wolf,
name, the cat chick.
who had a son named Galen.
Which means
How ironic it was, like, let's do a
Really
cat
think
chick and now
outside
we
the
get a
box with that
werewolf.
one, huh?
Perhaps he'd prefer
That
his
was a
English
cat and
name,
dog.
John Talbane.
Yeah, but his dad is named a freaking Wolf Lord. That's so awesome
Yeah.
it almost makes me forget he's
God
a total
damn.
deadbeat, just like my dad.
So when I first saw the
Things
ranking for
got
Darkstalkers, it
worse.
kind of
One
reminded me of
the
like
Wolf
Yu
Lord's
Yu
enemies,
Hakusho
the Demon Jeddah,
rankings
sent
in
an
a
assassin
sense.
to kill John's mother.
Dick
And he's a
move.
reluctant
Moms are off limits.
see to Felicia.
Now,
Yeah, so yeah, that
random
was her
movie.
name.
John grew up pretty pissed off at just about everything, especially the humans that hunted him when he transformed.
In the light of a
Yeah.
full moon, John
So
can't help but embrace
Darkstalkers,
his
I
Crook's
would try it
heritage.
if I
And
ever
under a
could.
red blood moon,
It seems
he
like it could be
risks
fun.
losing all sense of self and becoming a ravenous beast.
I don't know who I would
John's
play because
story
I
was about the
don't
same as
remember
any
the full
werewolves
roster
until he
of this
happened
game.
upon a man
I think
who was
John had
also
like
half
fun
monster, and he
combos.
defeated John in combat.
With martial arts. Hell yeah.
Damn.
Keep telling people the only way to solve violence is with a good pair of nunchucks.
John's new friend
Why
did
just
not offer
nunchucks?
violence,
Why would you
but
stop there? I don't
control.
know.
Seeing little other option, John accepted a life with his new sensei.
You ever
Well, we
played
don't know
KI
for
nor
sure what fighting
Darkstalkers?
style he was
Oh,
trained in.
Darkstalkers,
Based
I
on
imagine
the
it's hard to get on
time
like
period,
modern
location,
day
and its stance,
gaming.
We can guess that he was learning Shotokan karate.
Inspired by Bushido and Zen Buddhism, Shotokan Karate's focus
KI
is on
you can definitely get
control,
easy. It's definitely like
strong
it was like the
defense, and a
first like
rejection
big
of
exclusive like
unnecessary
free to play
violence.
title for Xbox.
Basically the exact opposite of being a werewolf.
Well, sign me up for his doggy dojo.
Also,
'Cause I
werewolf
have no
learning
idea how
karate
that
is the.
Zen stuff
Doesn't
translates
that
to moves
sound
like
cool?
his Climb Chaser and Wild Circular.
'Cause I think
Rejection
so.
of unnecessary violence, my ass. This dude's just showing off.
By embracing his
Yeah,
werewolf
boomstick
speed,
is
John
just add. I gotta get better with that.
can bash foes with his nunchaku and move so fast he appears to be in 2 places at once.
And by
After
tapping into
images.
his inner energy, Ki, John can perform the Beast Cannon and rocket around the room like a doggy
werewolf with
meteor
martial
of
arts and
pain.
Ki.
But that's
Imagine
nothing
this was a
compared to
Dragon
the
Ball enemy, though.
almighty Dragon Cannon. Oh yeah. So much for being Zen, right? That dragon can incinerate a whole wall.
It had a
John's
cartoon,
training seemed to
or
do
is this
the
an
trick
anime?
Until his master was killed by a group of bandits.
Where was your flaming dragon there, man?
Enraged
Oof.
yet again by the cruelty of mankind, but tempered by his master's compassion, John became conflicted over his role in a morally gray world. Unwilling
Yeah,
to
I
fight,
feel like the
but
difference between
always
John and
ready.
Saber is
And by
one led
combining
to,
his martial
wanted to
arts
become
skills
more of a
with his
beast, while the other
natural
wanted to become more
werewolf powers, he
human,
became a
basically, is what
wolf
I've
man to be
gotten
reckoned
from.
with.
His razor
these
sharp claws can
analysis.
slice through steel and even punch holes in powerful darkstalkers like Lilith.
He's
Right.
also got those great doggo senses, like super hearing and smell.
To demonstrate, I've modulated dummy senses up to the same
Oh,
degree
we're getting
as those of a
dummy
wolf.
cameo.
I see you find my frequent humiliation.
Oh, I do. Oop.
In open climates, wolf ears can hear sounds up to
Okay.
10 miles away.
Why did that make me laugh so much?
Somebody's outside stealing your dune buggy.
No, there. Wait, really?
Bye,
And
boomstick.
their sense of smell is over 100 times greater than that of a human's.
Oh, good. The thief got away.
What did you smell that told you that?
Salt. Lots and lots of salt.
What?
With nothing but grit and a thick layer of what I'm sure is unreasonably
Okay,
soft fur.
Dummy got a
Just
really
what
good laugh
is
out of me.
behind the ears. John has survived an onslaught of
Ah.
missiles from the monster hunter BB Hood. Wait. Who gave Little Red Riding Hood military-grade ordnance?
She
Oh,
did,
shake
because
their
BB
hand.
Hood is
We've seen John dodge
absurd.
bullets up close, but he's bragged about being as fast as light speed.
Sure, John.
And he can take
Jan.
down these 50
Hey, they're making fun of Yang's OC right there. Rude.
Which can fly through outer space. Also, it's worth mentioning that
Hmm.
Darkstalker society is broken up into different classes based on the strength and power of the individual.
Yep.
John is a B+ class Darkstalker, which is way above average, so it makes sense to compare him to other B+ classers. to
Yeah,
gauge his
it's like Yu Yu
limits.
Hakusho,
Descartes,
basically.
who sank
where
all of ancient
S
Egypt
class, A class
underground.
demons, and all
Or
that fun stuff.
QB, who could lift a massive beehive high above this castle.
Based on its size relative
Definitely
to
one
the
of
castle,
Dummy's
this
best
hive
jokes,
would have to weigh
definitely.
over 30 million
Dummy can't get
tons.
laughs out of people.
That's like lifting over
It's
300
just you gotta find one that you really
aircraft
enjoy.
carriers. And John's way more jacked than she is. And imagine getting stung by one of those bees.
Ouch.
Even with his amazing
editing
power,
jokes are
after decades
solid.
of torment, John had resigned himself to a life of misery and solitude.
Until he met the cutest cat girl around.
Hello
Now,
again,
We all
Felicia.
know cats are usually super evil and Satan's
Don't tell
presence
Bill
on
that.
Earth,
Oh,
but Felicia
oh,
taught him that
I'll
humans actually
definitely
aren't
bring
so
it up
bad.
because I gotta do
Wait,
stuff with Bill tomorrow.
So years of martial arts discipline couldn't temper his bad
I wonder
side,
how many people are
but
chasing
getting
that
laid
cat.
did? You know what? I believe in.
As far as we know, they're just friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Right.
the internet could give you 34 good reasons why that's bullshit, Wiz.
Damn it, Boomstick.
Despite what DeviantArt thinks, Felicia would help John conquer his dark side.
Literally. Like, he literally fought his dark side and killed it. I always thought that was supposed to be like...
If only
metaphor
Vader
stuff,
could have done
but
that, am I
guess
right?
That isn't the weirdest thing we've talked about.
And with that victory, John finally claimed dominance over his monstrous identity and committed himself to a life of compassion.
Yeah,
But
John's a
John
cool
will always
character.
be a Darkstalker. If he
I think his
relapses,
story was
he'll
really
be as
nice.
deadly as ever.
There will always be a monster inside of him. Just waiting
Actually, has
to be
Dummy
let
even
loose.
appeared this season? Not yet.
Resistance with humans is impossible. That is why we
Actually, he was in Citrus's Rocket. Citrus's Rocket he was in.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But speaking of howling in the middle of the night,
But speaking of, Blue Chew. Again! Chat, don't forget to go to bluechew.com. I'm kidding. I realize I can just do this. And just skip ahead manually. I haven't done that this whole time until this episode. Oops. But now, it's time for the fight of wolves. And the real question to ask, Where were you all for this episode? Let's get into it. Oh boy. Right away, they were like, this is going to be the bloodiest episode. With Chris Carrero coming back as
I have no forgiveness.
Saberwolf, and the guy voicing John Talbane later went on to voice Shadow the Hedgehog. And well, everyone just loves Blood Moon. I think it's one of the best soundtracks of this season, if not the best one. And we finally had a really good looking KI sprite, something we haven't had since ever. And yet they made this work so well with the custom sprites. It just showed off how well they could do. The fire lighting and just these tiny details like the scratch marks fighting in the wall. This fight went so hard, which I appreciate. Oh God, this song's so good. And ow! Ivy versus Orchid? I didn't know if that came out. Oh, yeah, it did. Ivy was okay, Soul Calibur-wise. Orchid was meh. I meant so because of Glacius' sprite wasn't the best. Woo! Bloody episode with a bloody awesome soundtrack. And the way they used the fire back was creative. Dragon Cannon! Uh-oh. Here, have Nemesis. Through the wall. And then the Blood Moon.
Not now.
Hot damn. God. Blood everywhere. Ferocity is there. I actually like Sub-Zero Glacius a lot. I like Sub-Zero Glacius too.
Not like him.
And then it's just brutality much?
Not like this.
And this was a freaking fake out, man. Like, how badass do you have to be to do that as a fake out?
I'll make an exception.
Into the death is so good. Hot freaking damn.
Wiz, I think I need to see a therapist.
Okay, so the Saberwolf beat John nowadays. I'm gonna say it, he does not. And I say that because Saberwolf was actually the favorite to win, which I never understood why. This episode was really getting my respect and love for werewolves. The sheer ferocity of those beasts unappreciated these days. Yeah.
Technically, that puts Saberwolf's reaction capability well within light speed, which
yeah, it was insane just to see like how John won, because this was an upset to a lot of people. But I think it was just because a lot of people didn't know Darkstalkers that much.
This is important because fellow Darkstalkers Morgan and
you always get chills from that death. It's a good death. It really is.
Yeah, those two are A-classers, but B-plus Darkstalkers like John have kept up with the higher classes in speed plenty of
like,
time.
goddamn, name me a better death from that season. It's hard.
When it comes to the Darkstalker class system, speed is much less a factor than power and energy levels. To be frank, even if John was half Morgan's speed, he'd still
I mean, yeah, you could say Venom vs. Krona had a really good death too, but compared to this, it's night and day.
He was way stronger too. QB's also a B-plus Darkstalker, and she lived
the bees.
million-ton bee
the bees.
More than anything Saberwolf can
yeah,
pull
I
off.
don't
And
think
when
Saberwolf can
Pega
beat
raised
John
options,
nowadays.
and
If
a flaming
maybe there was
Inferno
ever another
Dragon
KI
beats out
game,
a low
possibly.
discount Firebat any day.
While his application is different, we can gauge the level of ki John has at his disposal by factoring Anakaris sinking all of Egypt.
So the only logical thing to do was measure the total weight of ancient Egypt. No, really. We did that.
The dedication they did, though, they probably didn't have to do this, but it was insane for them to do it.
The pyramids and considering additional land, we determined Anacars's key had to be strong enough to move a civilization weighing over 1.2
It's
trillion
fucking
tons.
wild.
And that's not even counting all the people or cats. They had a shitload of cats. Now that's
Cats.
crazy for an old school horror monster like a mummy or a werewolf, but Darkstalkers aren't quite like the classic.
Yeah.
At this fight's core, though, John won because of the kind of werewolf he was. Through years of
I think this
struggle,
episode
Samuel
overall
never
still holds
found
up really
any
well,
means to
especially in the
tame
fight
his
department.
savagery, while John had successfully managed to
Like,
regulate his wild side.
it
Given
was
the
worth the
precision,
extra
skill,
delay
and
for Red
control,
versus
the poor
Blue.
Baron couldn't even begin to
I'm glad this
understand.
episode came out when it
Saberwolf
did.
was vicious and unrelenting, but John had the training, the power, and yes, the flaming inferno dragons to score a brutal victory.
Brutal doesn't even cut it. I mean, how much blood was that? You know, it had to be at least a gallon.
Goddamn it,
The winner
Boomstick.
is John Talbane.
Ah, God. The one thing that doesn't improve with these seasons
Thanks for
is
watching this
the
episode of Death
Boomstick
Battle.
puns.
Go back
It
to
feels
the
like
series
sometimes they get
for
worse.
upcoming matchups. If you want to watch more stuff,
I don't know
you can click
why.
the boxes right around here, and you
Well,
can
what
always
was
pick
after
up
John
some
versus
merch
Saberwolf,
at
you ask?
store.roosterteeth.com.
Attention, Blue
It was Red versus Blue again. Yay! Don't care. I say that because we've already seen the trailer for that one. Of next, your favorite mythical creatures, vampires. We get the vampire versus vampire fight. Because technically Ganondorf's not a vampire. Because up next, oh boy, Dio versus Alucard, the final Halloween fight that I have not touched on this channel. I said it because I've touched Jason versus Michael. We're gonna do Scooby-Doo versus Courage soon. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hope you guys are ready for the finale, because oh boy, we got a good one from 2 years ago. We are doing Dio from JoJo versus Alucard from Hellsing. There is quite a lot to say about this one. You think you guys are ready? We have this, and then we're going to do a little bit of a fun activity. It'll be a fun way to end this. We will be doing a little bit of a ranking of every Halloween episode. What I think is the worst to best versus what chat thinks the worst to best will be. See how our list compares. Because, oh boy, I feel like I'm going to be in some hot water for what I have to say. It is time for Dio versus Alucard. Ah, yes, one of the most popular reactions for this episode for a solid wow. Yeah, it's still your second most popular video on your channel. Y'all should go check out Torak, by the way. He's been helping make the thumbnails for my skits. Vampire time.
Dio Brando, everlasting adversary.
So now we're getting more into the modern day intros of Death Battle with this one compared to everything else.
Of the Hellsing organization.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares formed from the blackest pits
So
of man's
Dracula was the
unmet
previous
imagination.
vampire
Anime.
from
Basically the same thing.
this Halloween episode trend.
Two of the meanest monsters
And
out
now we're
there.
getting one of the most popular matches. Dio versus Alucard. It's up there with how long it's been requested with Cole versus Alex, Galactus Unicron. It was like one of the big three of
Imagine,
requests.
if you can, someone so wicked that the sheer magnitude of
But
their
let's talk
unholy
Dio
deeds
Brando.
literally
I think
destroyed
Dio's a really cool villain.
You might think
Like,
they
they
have
made
to
him
be no
work
less than the devil
so
himself,
well.
But it was him, Dio.
born a penniless.
Hang on. Oh, great. I forgot. We're dealing with anime, so it's going to be audio only. And I say this again, like, I don't want to have to do this, okay? But I don't want the stream to get taken down. like with Krona's analysis. So so Dio and Alucard's analysis are going to be hidden, and we're going to play the episode with just a mostly audio description. I don't want the stream to get taken down again, guys. I really don't.
Street rat with a cunning mind in the slums of Victorian
Dio is a god. Yang is so fucking thirsty for this man.
His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a
But yeah, this guy what became a father to the Part 5 protagonist, Giorno Giovanna, and Giorno's dope. His father, however, is not. And thank you for understanding, guys.
His new father, George Joestar, and take his fortune for himself.
So the thing about Dio was, I think Dio was really cool written as a villain.
AKA Jojo.
And seeing just what he does, he's up there with Eobard Thawne for most messed up characters in this season.
Jesus, you give that creepy dog murderer what for, Jojo?
But after years of
It's between him and Thawne that are like the worst of the season.
Was foiled by his righteous stepbrother.
With help from the interfering speedwagon, all seemed lost until
Guilty. So you don't even deny it. So it was weird at first because like how they would handle Part 1 and Part 3 Dio because of how different they are.
Making him way stronger, faster, and tougher than any human. He can hear a heartbeat.
It's just insane because Part 1 Dio has some powers that they never really explored in Part 3 much after it.
Controlling flesh buds from his hair follicles, vaporize the moisture in his body to freeze anything he touches, and fire beams of pressurized fluids that can split the
Yeah,
sky.
fluids.
Pressurized fluids. Oh, sometimes it's too easy, Wiz. Even more insane is Dio's healing factor. He's
Yay
been
for
alive,
broken vampire powers.
dead, bisected, decapitated, lost limbs, filled with bullets, and had a huge
I think
hole punched
it just shows how insane JoJo can be with how many ways Araki made Dio
Another
attacked.
vampire straight survived being blown to pieces and just hold himself back together.
Because of course.
needs is some blood to speed up the process. So he is basically a vampire. Though I guess the fangs are just for decoration because he sucks.
Yeah, I think Araki wanted to make Dio very different than most vampires, and he did just that.
Army to conquer the world and feed a baby to its own mother.
Yay for Dio being messed up.
We've had a lot of real pieces of shit on this show, Wiz, but I'm starting to think Dio takes the cake. Luckily, his plans.
I don't think there's been a character since Dio that's been as messed up as Dio. Again, it's between him and Thawne.
That uses the power of the sun. Hamon.
Because should Dio's vampire body be subjected to sunlight, he will instantly.
Yay for sunlight, the only weakness that Dio has ever really shown.
He cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his wedding night, and attached his head to JoJo's body. Wow, cake taken for sure.
After a brief century in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean, Dio resurfaced in Egypt and tried once again to take over the world. His ultimate goal was to create a world where everyone
they went
lived
to
their
Part
own fate
3 for Dio to
with
return,
peaceful,
because I don't know
inevitable
why.
tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven.
And he'd make it happen no matter
Eyes over heaven. An interesting JoJo game.
After being struck
It
by
was
a
me,
mystical
JoJo.
arrow, sure, why not? Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a user's
So
life
now
force.
we're getting
Since
into
their
stands.
psychic energy, stands can only be seen by
So,
stand users, and can
stands
only be hurt
were
by other stands.
back in season 5 with Jotaro Kenshiro. So they broke him down a little bit further into Boomstick's own stand.
I call it 99 bottles.
And they went the song route.
Oh shit! Don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your Ooh, look, a giant beer.
Oh god.
As befits a god
So yeah, for some reason they went the Part 4 route of songs. Because Part 3 was around tarot cards.
Time, huh? Thanks for the ow. Well,
The time, huh, joke.
Get longer with each use. He can spam it as much as he likes. He's a massive troll.
The world is absurdly strong
Yeah.
and fast.
I remember talking to Mate yesterday. We were talking about stands in general, like for Death Battle. Like it would be cool to see a stand versus a Persona at some point.
Body and bloodline, making Star Platinum and the world the same stand.
And both are
Hooray!
two of the strongest stands out there, just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch.
Oh yeah, this one I never got why they scaled Dio to Jolene. I didn't think it made sense. Like, I thought you can scale the Giorno possibly because of DNA, but to Jolene,
Not that crazy when
I
you
don't
can
know.
throw punches that are faster than light. No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
pew.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam,
I remember, if you're a member on the Death Battle channel, by the way, they did do a video where they broke down more of like how they were able to calculate the Silver Chariot feed.
And taking its punches head on.
Yeah,
I mean, Jordan vs. Joker is a big match with that theme in mind. But this season, I think people... Road Roller. I think people just want to see either that or Kira versus Adachi this year.
Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Dio is crafty.
Learn how to stop time too and murder the shit out of him.
Goodbye.
Some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense that a dog murderer would die like a bitch.
But much like the machinations
Yeah,
of
Dio
great and
was still a
terrible
cool
men,
villain for
Dio's
JoJo.
work
They've tried to bring him
was
back a few
in
times.
time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
Sort of.
I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was I, Dio.
It was I, Dio, who played this app on your video. Oh, God. Okay, now let's talk Alucard. So, Alucard, I've never heard of Hellsing. I remember people talked about Hellsing Abridged more often than the actual Hellsing.
Covered with the Helsing organization.
Founded by famous
Why, you ask?
Abraham
I
Van
don't
Helsing
know.
and led by his descendant Integra. This secret government institution has
I've never gone to see an episode of Hellsing, but I think Alucard and Anderson were cool characters from the show.
Then with one of their very own, the No-Life King, the Bird of
And
Earth.
also the supposed king of vampires of his series.
Was shrouded in mystery. But under Helsing's employ, he was
Alucard, aka Fire. In case you guys couldn't tell from Fireball's profile picture, and in nearly every other thing I do with him, he's always like Alucard.
You'll ever pray to your infinite God to never see.
Alucard actually had a resurgence of popularity recently, thanks to Activision too. I say that because they actually have a Alucard skin in Call of Duty now.
That can nullify a vampire's healing factor.
The Jackal is the handgun she told you not to worry about. 16 inches long and weighing 30
His guns are massive.
Armor-piercing, hollow-point bullets, jacketed in
And I
Blessed
think with
Macedonian silver
Alucard, it's also the design a lot of people recognize as just iconic. From the red jacket to the hat and shades every so often.
Alucard's vampiric abilities far beyond the norm.
Alucard can walk through walls.
And well, as we'll hear later on, they got Curtis Arnott to play Alucard, who was the VA of Hellsing Abridged, which was Alucard's original idea
Psychic prowess allows him to read
as
minds,
well, which
communicate
was cool to see for fan service.
and see through hallucinations with his third eye.
And also, Alucard's actual VA went to voice Winston from Overwatch, which is funny. The same guy who plays this Vampire King plays a freaking scientist
Of course,
monkey.
He wouldn't be a real vampire if he couldn't drink blood. The catch is, when he drinks enough blood to kill you, he literally absorbs your soul.
Yay!
There is the source of
Both
his
versions of the
most
series are
fearsome
great, but
ability.
people tend to focus on the bridge version because more people knows about that. Which is not a bad thing, right? I know. It's like with the DBZ compared to DBZ Abridged, essentially. How fitting, because, you know, Curtis Arnott was also in DBZ Abridged.
While he does possess blood and organs like a regular human, Alucard's body is in reality composed of an ethereal
Yeah, and I remember, like, this was the big thing that made Alucard broken, was just how his healing factor worked compared to everyone else. A lot of people, you know, you think, oh, it's like Wolverine's. No. He also weighs Itachi from Naruto. Okay, that I did not know.
And after 500 years of unlife, Alucard has consumed literally millions of souls. What up?
So many. Back to the beer.
Hey, more beer.
Just like me.
What up? Helsing needed a beast as fearsome as Alucard to take on Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like
Yay!
squared.
Like when
it's obvious why they can't do Nazi zombies, because that was trademarked by Activision.
Aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of
I mean, we can talk about how Michael Kalbach went from voicing Shazam and Shazam vs. Captain Marvel is voicing the Holy Spider Demon processing Hazbin Hotel. Angel Dust, I think was his name. Yeah, the same Angel Dust who played Asta and Goku. Fucking wild.
AKA the mother of all bombs.
It's just absurd to see, you know, what voice actors have done, and then you realize they're another thing, and we're like, wait, what? That's kind of cool.
Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's
like how Erica Mendez went from Rainbow Dash to Ryuko.
The speed of sound.
And Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth.
And some of these shots in the Hellsing are disturbing, but in an entertaining way.
With his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn monster!
It goes without saying that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed.
Yeah, and there was also Schrodinger was also a thing that they considered. Well, that was mentioned in the analysis.
Are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and
right.
this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence, Baskerville.
But there exists an even greater.
They named it Baskerville and not Cerberus, though, which was a missed opportunity.
Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million of them.
Sure, with his soul.
Hooray for Level 0.
And if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently.
And it's specifically people from London, because of the Hellsing organization. Poor villain mate, am I right?
He's unstoppable. This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires.
Dude, you really should watch Hellsing. It doesn't matter if it's a bitch or not. No, I don't know yet. I don't know if I'll ever watch Hellsing. Probably not.
Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz.
Dracula, you've covered that before.
The Wallachian Voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe.
Dracula being based off Vlad the Impaler was, I think this episode kind of also pointed that out. Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler.
But things didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that
Alucard story is just as fucked up, if anything.
He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main
Chat
reason
disconnected.
He hated other vampires so much was that he
There we go. Never mind. That was odd.
Himself.
But I can see you guys again.
Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a piñata of self-loathing.
Viva piñata!
Millennium would exploit this arrogance by tricking Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrodinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state.
A cat boy. I forgot how weird that sounded when I first heard it.
And nowhere. And
then again, this was Hellsing.
So long as he can recognize his own existence.
No, I see you guys. I see you.
Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him. Schrody couldn't recognize himself anymore.
It's just a YouTube thing.
And thus Alucard to fade out of existence.
Ouch.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could
Alucard went through hell and back just to come back, which is absurd.
His own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat,
which I think a lot of people consider that the nail in the coffin for just coming back against Dio.
Meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good.
But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war.
God damn. Brutal anime.
I'm a dog. Then you're dog food.
Alright.
The combatants are set, and we've run the data.
You guys ready to get into the animation?
But first, if you want the same
Too bad, we got an ad.
Try to take over the world with a zombie army. First off, interesting. Secondly, try out Blue Chew.
No. I don't want to try out Blue Chew. God damn. Oh boy, stretching. So now we're going to get into this animation, which we were talking about how John versus Saberwolf was the bloodiest fight of that. This takes it to a whole nother level. Alright, here we go. Dio versus Alucard. the setting felt so good with the music choice as well. Dead. And goodbye to my Shiranui.
You interrupted my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
God damn.
Then by all means.
I have not tried any of the Death Battle sponsors. Bam, boom, boom. Tom Schulk as Dio was honestly really good. A lot of people wanted, I think his name was Ant Venom to voice Dio, but I think Tom did a phenomenal job. Bam, bam, bam. See ya. Oh, this is just the way they made Dio sound was fantastic. Dio? God damn. Ow.
I'm a dog. Your dog food.
Goodbye. I was so happy when they brought the steamroller into this stuff. It was, I mean, you had to. You had to get the steamroller. If you didn't, I would have been ashamed. I tried Netflix when they advertised it on Screw Attack. That's fair. Netflix was a solid one. Goodbye, the world. Oh, the CGI blood was so cool. Imagine how long it would have taken them to actually get this whole fight together, though.
What the hell are you?
A real fucking vampire.
Goodbye. Damn. Like, I'm pretty sure this is still the bloodiest episode of all time. And that's mostly because of the Sea of Blood. Hello. And now time for some hand-to-hand combat, guys. No, I don't regret making that joke ever. Hello. Just the way the sprite is with Alucard's smile was very nice. Ow. It was a creative way to also avoid the bullets technically just eating the gun. Bammo! Some of the hand-drawn shots are cool, but some are like that Dio close-up. Goodbye, everything. Hey.
Face me, Vampire King. Bow to your new god.
Hooray!
The bird of Hermes is my name, eating my wings to make me tame.
Man, the dialogue is still phenomenal. You would hear your anger towards the ending. Goodbye. I think it's a really cool ending, though. With the music and also just the scream Tom does. Dio wins. I got an ad. Oh, God damn it. Really was to be continued. Okay. Elephant in the room. Just like with every other rewatch. Does Dio still beat Alucard? Yes. 100% yes.
King of the vampires in Hellsing, but Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes.
And it's mostly because of the JoJos that come afterward. This is one of the few death battles where I insisted the loser would win. A lot of people thought Alucard would win, but then they researched into Dio and then realized, yeah, no.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound. But
I think this was like one of the biggest like ones that people wanted to debunk because of like Alucard's like absurd popularity and immortality.
1,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster than Alucard.
Yeah, Dio can still. Yeah, I do think Dio still beats Alucard today.
And since stone mask vampires from JoJo are
mostly because, like, if we're scaling from everything, parts 7, 8 get wild.
Plus, Alucard just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just.
I do think, like, all the points they brought up, though, make a lot of sense for the time being.
Trouble doing damage, even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time,
that's a hill you want to
realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession.
I think Yang was probably definitely happy with Dio winning, though, because, well, she was thirsty for the guy.
Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only.
I am curious to see. I remember when reactions came out, like, some reactors were very upset with it, which, again, it's because people like Alucard.
Estimating the size of the
But I think overall, this episode was fun. The analysis for Dio was good. The fight was fun. Alucard was fun to learn about. And then it addressed the whole Schrödinger thing to try to solidify the rule set. See, Yang's happy with the outcome.
What about Schrödinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrödinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it
is absurd, though, like how much in-depth they had to go for this post-analysis.
And his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrödinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Right.
Even if we did, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help him kill Dio.
I do think it would be interesting to see another Hellsing character get in, and like, I think the only one people have wanted has been Anderson. And his popular request for a while was Blade from Marvel, but then people were like, no, we want Buffy versus Blade, so I think that might not happen.
Abilities wore Alucard down until the No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned.
I can show this again. We're not in anime clips anymore.
Tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And hey, wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory. We talked about this.
The winner is Dio.
I don't get why they did that at the end, though. That so confused me. But that was Dio versus Alucard.
Watching the show, we really hope you enjoyed that episode of Death Battle.
And up next, I think this was Akuma Shao Kahn.
Check out Red vs. Blue
right?
Family Shatters, where the Red vs. Blue Zero crew gets up to all sorts of wacky.
Yeah, I think it was Akuma Shao Kahn was announced after this one.
On Death Battle also worked on this show, so give it a watch. Thanks.
It is Akuma Shao Kahn. Okay. That was every single.
This episode of Death Battle is brought to you.
That was all the Halloween episodes that Death Battle has ever done. What a ride it's been. Thank you folks for hanging out today. But before we end today's stream, like I said, we are going to do one little side activity that I wanted to do. I didn't set up a separate screen for it, so we're going to do it on here. Well, let's go ahead and go here. Do I want this one? Yeah, sure. I'll do this one for the background. So, it is time to rank all 5 of the Halloween episodes. It's a top 5 time. So, I am curious what you guys think is the top 5 that we've seen today. Because I'm going to start off the top 5 very interestingly. And I think if I do this. Alright. So number 5 that we've seen today. I think the number 5 bottom episode of Halloween is Venom vs. Krona. I think atmospheric wise it's pretty good. But I never really got into Krona during the analysis portion. And it just felt like such a weird fight with the whole Krona specifically a sound-based user against someone who's specifically weak to sound-based. So it just felt odd. And there are parts where it is hard to see in the environment, so my number 5 is going to be Venom vs. Krona. Fireball says Ryu versus Scorpion, his number 5. Torok, are you Venom Krona or Ryu Scorpion? I do want to know that before we go on to number 4. Because my number 4, it's a hard call between two of them. Venom vs. Crow is number 5 for me. Gotcha. Now, number 4, judging that just based off Halloween aspect alone, sadly, I'm going to have to go with Ryu vs. Scorpion. I think overall, it's a really good episode. It's my favorite episode of Season 2. But Halloween-wise, the terms are very loose. There's not a whole lot of Halloween stuff. And hey, you know what? Chat seems to agree with me that Venom vs. Krona is number 5, except for my old moderator. He thinks 3 vs. Scorpion, but I think Ryu vs. Scorpion is number 4. I think all the episodes are great fight-wise. The only thing that keeps us from going up higher is the Halloween theming. Now, you could argue, yes, Venom vs. Krona had slightly more Halloween theming than this one, but that episode overall wasn't that good compared to everything else. So, number 4, Ryu vs. Scorpion. Number 3. I mean, we're to judge them for being Halloween thing. Be number 5, lol. I'm also judging the quality. I think that's because, like, it was a season 2 episode as well. So I think it could be done a whole lot better today. Especially if you get Zack back on that animation. It'd be really fun. Fireball says number 4 should be Venom vs. Krona. Interesting. Did not expect that from the Krona fan. Because number 3, I have Ganon versus Dracula at number 3. Now, I do want to clarify. Yes, Ganon versus Dracula is better than Ganon versus Bowser. However, I think the reason, and it's also a really cool SFM fight. It's just that I think the weakest part was Alucard's analysis, was Dracula's analysis. You'd say John versus Sablewolf was your number 4 or number 3? I'm going to assume number 4 because of latency. And the death is also brutal, but the rest of these deaths are also brutal. And also the music was not memorable too much. I don't remember most people talking about Ganon versus Dracula's music, at least compared to the other 2 entries we have. And also, it's a solid first choice if you want to recommend a Halloween episode. It's solid everywhere else. Number 3 is Dio vs. Alucard. Gotta go fun stream, Shawnee. Thanks for hanging out, Yang. Appreciate it. Because here's what's fun. So yeah, for me, number 3 is Ganon v. Dracula. Number 2 is going to be Dio versus Alucard. That is my number 2 Halloween episode. Vampire theming and environment and the whole bloody mess is there for this. I felt the Dio was intimidating and horrifying. Alucard's analysis was also horrifying. Alucard in the fight, not as horrifying, but also had his moments. There's just something to be said about seeing the sea of blood for it really nicely. Is that really brings it down for me. I get that as an Alucard fan, but I think that death also really is good for Dio versus Alucard. Like, in general, I think it was a good thing. And also, it just showed how messed up Dio is. I think overall, I really enjoyed going back to Dio versus Alucard. It's not the number 1, but it is really good. while you guys think what your number 1 and number 2s are, there's something I want to talk about. Is honorable mention. And I'm only mentioning this because this should have been classified as a Halloween episode, but it's not because it came out in August. Carnage vs. Lucy. Blop. This episode's great. Am I going to do a rewatch of Carnage vs. Lucy? Absolutely. I do want to talk to Wolf about getting him on for that, because this is his favorite episode ever. Carnage vs. Lucy is really, really good. Just sucks it was uploaded in August. And number 1 is Saberwolf versus John Talbane. The best Halloween death battle, in my opinion, is this one. It features the really cool concept of werewolves, how each character acts different. Leon versus Frank. What are you talking about? That episode sucked. It was the worst of season 5. I'd rather not talk about it at all. Honorable mention, Song vs. Lich King. I don't know if it's considered remotely close to Halloween rep, but it's definitely more fitting than Reeve vs. Scorpion. Yeah, that's also fair. It's also how the wiki decided what was Halloween themed episodes was October. Like around Halloween. Unless the crew has outright confirmed it, like with Courage vs. Scooby, that's the Halloween episode. But, back on topic. Saberwolf vs. John Talbane. I think it's a really good episode. The best Halloween episode. Blood Moon is such an iconic track. It is bloody as all hell. They used their powers and the environment to make it look so eerie and creepy. The freaking fake out towards the end of that. How brutal is that? And that was a fake out. And the deaths, the goriest deaths that we had for Halloween episodes. I think it's gorier than Dio vs. Alucard. But I think overall, if I were to say what I think the best Halloween episode is, it's Saberwolf versus John Talbane. But that is just my opinion. What did you guys think? I've seen some interesting talk, like how Venom versus Conan, Ryu versus Scorpion towards the bottom for some people, while middle of the road could be Dio versus Alucard, or even perhaps Saberwolf versus John Talbane. But overall, I would say Saberwolf versus John Talbane is the best Halloween episode, going by what we watched today. You know what would have been a cool episode that I kind of wish was also Halloween-y? Is Kira Adachi, because of, like, serial killers. I think that would have been, like, a fitting episode of Halloween. It'll be interesting to see where Courage versus Scooby ranks compared to today. And maybe throw Jason Myers above Venom Krona. That's fair. I was just ranking the episodes we rewatched today. Yeah, so that's why. I would say Jason Myers is probably also above Venom Krona as well. But yeah, you can go check out the reaction video me and Fireball did to Jason versus Michael. I feel bad for that episode because it didn't age that good. But thank you folks for watching. Thank you folks for hanging out with the stream today. And thank you for listening to me ramble. I do want to do more rewatches soon. The fans have asked for Obi-Wan vs. Kakashi. And I'm in talks with some people. Maybe some of you guys might be interested, because I've done videos with you guys before, about doing a thing leading up to this year's finale where I rewatch Death Battle finales for Rewatch. I can confirm I am in talks with someone for All Might vs. Might Guy. It is somebody you guys may or may not know. He's from the Robust Cast, that's all I'm going to say, but I do have someone in mind for watching All Might vs. Might Guy at least. I may have some folks in mind. But with that being said, I'm going to play some music to send off the stream and just chat with you guys for a brief moment. We'll go back to We'll do this one. Because this is from a episode you could consider a Halloween episode. Here's the Gojo versus the Makima track with just instruments. Enjoy!